Let's go over the future of the Star Wars franchise when it comes to the 4th Star Wars trilogy. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, after Star Wars Episode 9, we do have a handful of projects that are being developed by both Disney and Lucasfilm. Not only do we have Star Wars The Mandalorian, The Clone Wars Season 7, but we also have the new Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones, as well as the Rian Johnson trilogy, which in my own personal opinion, I think will eventually get cancelled. But looking at what they are crafting right now, a lot of people have been wondering exactly when could we expect to see the new Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones. Now, right now, there's a lot of talk that Disney and Lucasfilm are negotiating a release date for the new Star Wars trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones. Now, Disney is aiming for a release for the 4th trilogy for December of 17th of 2021, kicking off a whole entire new saga. So December 17th of 2021 would be a whole lot earlier than that of Star Wars Episode 9, in or around by one whole week. Now, this could have something to do with the 24th being Christmas Eve, and then of course the 31st being New Year's Eve, so that would make sense in a way, because a lot of people are usually busy on those major holidays in December. So looking at this new trilogy, it seems as though that Disney and Lucasfilm are aiming for December 17th of 2021, where David Benioff and D.B. Weiss will kickstart their new Star Wars saga that will explore the adventures of some new characters out there, which a lot of people are really hoping it out to be the old Republic era, as well as I am. I'm really crossing my fingers that they are going to explore that time period, which dates so many years before the events of The Phantom Menace and the prequel trilogy as a whole. I mean, can you imagine the possibilities? I mean, if you look at The Last Jedi Visual Dictionary, they slightly hinted at making the Old Republic canon when it comes to some of our fan favorite characters, such as Darth Revan. Now, in The Last Jedi Visual Dictionary, it goes over Luke Skywalker's Kyber crystal necklace, and I have gone over this before in the past, where it actually says that it once belonged to a Jedi Crusader. Now, the Jedi Crusaders are actually affiliated with the Old Republic era, and Darth Revan actually was a part of the Jedi Crusaders. So, we're almost there. Darth Revan is almost canon. He is getting there. In fact, there was a deleted scene from, I believe it was the Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels, I'm not quite sure. It was one of those animated TV shows, but it never made it to the final set of one of the seasons of one of those shows where you actually got to see a vision of Darth Revan. Now, had that actual sequence made it out into the finalized version of that TV show, it could have very well been the moment in time in which Revan was made canon. So, looking at the Old Republic, I just think it has a lot of possibilities, and I would really like to hear your opinion. If they choose it not to be the Old Republic, how would you feel about that, and what kind of time period would we be placed in? It's pretty much widely assumed right now that it won't be treated like Rian Johnson's, because this new trilogy by the creators of Game of Thrones are going to be all for the hardcore fans out there. It's going to cater to more of the adults. It's going to be more of a violent set of Star Wars movies, whereas Rian Johnson's trilogy will be a more family-friendly trilogy. Now, here's the thing, though. I want to get on the subject of Rian Johnson's trilogy for a bit. Now, we do know that Bob Iger stated that there is going to be slowed down for Star Wars, and this is where I get a little confused. If they're slowing down Star Wars as far as how many Star Wars movies they will be releasing, if you have 2 trilogies coming out, how is that necessarily a slowdown where you have the creators of Game of Thrones doing 3 movies, and then you have Rian Johnson doing 3 movies? That's 6 whole Star Wars films coming out every single year, and we heard on and off that those 2 trilogies would be releasing, before and after the other each and every episode of each trilogy. So, for example, the Game of Thrones guys would have theirs debuting in 2021, then Rian Johnson's most likely, just a guess, in 2022, and then the Game of Thrones guys again in 2023, if you catch what I'm saying here. But looking at everything here, guys, I gotta say one thing and one thing only. The trilogy that I am really looking forward to is, of course, the set of Star Wars films that are going to be developed by David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. Now, the reason as to why is because they come from HBO. HBO has a lot of quality content. They have a lot of quality shows out there. I don't know if you guys watch Westworld, Game of Thrones, all these different shows on there. They are amazing. Now, though I haven't really tapped into Game of Thrones too much, I will say I am a fan of Westworld, and it's a great show. So, looking at HBO-esque material, alright, that's how these new set of Star Wars movies will be treated. It's going to be very high quality. It's going to be more catered to that of adults, where it is going to be more violent, and it will be exploring a certain saga. As Bob Iger has said before in the past, they're going to be starting their own entire saga. And that, to me, is a very interesting piece for sure. Now, as for Star Wars 2020, what is happening here, right? A lot of people are wondering, are we even getting a Star Wars film in 2020? Now, the big rumor right now, and this is just a rumor, is that there's going to be no Star Wars movie for 2020, and that they will be skipping a whole entire year to focus on television. That being, of course, Jon Favreau's Star Wars The Mandalorian. Keep people busy, going on the Disney streaming service. It'll be a way for them to essentially get people to sign up because no movies are coming out in that year, and that's their plan apparently. Then 2021 is when the new trilogy would actually start. So that's apparently how it's all going to work out right now, and we shall see if that remains. But it's going to be a very interesting ride for sure to see exactly how things will be after Episode 9. I don't know how the fans are going to react to this movie. If it's bad or good, we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.